champion prevailed, defeated the villain, now pour him some ale. Toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty, oh valley of plenty, oh. Toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty. Toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty, oh valley of plenty, oh. Toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty. Toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty, oh valley of plenty, oh. Toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty.
Well, hello, my friends, and welcome to another Wednesday here for The Witcher Family of Wraiths. We have a good one for you tonight. We have a very, very good one for you. But before we begin, I would like to let you all know we currently have a giveaway going from Artausorian Games, a sponsor of the show. If you would like to enter said giveaway, please go into chat, type !PDF, and you will be entered to win a PDF copy of the Witcher Core Rulebook. It is a fantastic system. I go over it quite a bit just for enjoyment, really. It's one of those rare rulebooks that's also entertaining just to sit down and read. Fans of The Witcher, I strongly suggest entering the contest. In addition to that, I would like to let you all know that if this is your first time joining us, we are playing The Witcher by the system rules. So we want to be able to get everything as close to correct as we can. So at times we may slow down a bit to make sure we have a rule correct, to make sure that we're telling you the appropriate answer to any type of RPG question that might be out there. The reason I say that is if this is your first time joining us, there's a fight coming tonight. Whether the PCs avoid it, make it quick, something is going to happen, and it just did. Matt, I believe, will be joining us. So, my friend, be thinking of who you want to bring to the continent, how you want to take on your trial of the grasses, and prepare yourself, my friend, as you will be joining us here, which is a perfect segue. I will get to our sponsors in a moment, but how can you, the legion of viewers that are watching here on Twitch, how can you influence the show as it stands? Easy. If you want to go on right now, all you have to do is retweet our going live tweet. Anytime we hit thresholds of 20, 30, 40, or even higher, I will award the PCs with a boon, an in-game boon. It could be mechanic, it could be an advantage roll, it could be temporary hit points. For this particular episode, I am going to leave the rewards nebulous, because if we are at a specific point in the narrative, I would much rather give the PCs hit points than something predetermined. So let's see how we go, but it is in your hands, Legion. Help if you will, help if you want, but if you want to, again, directly influence what is going on here, if you want to become, as Matt has, part of the story, please look straight down. You will see that we have many donations that affect either by helping or hindering the PCs, giving them hit points, giving them all hit points, helping in one way or the other. You can even bring in Gaunter O'Dim, the GOD himself, who has been activated in the past and saved a character's life. I will let you know that Gaunter is not active right now. So if anybody wants to donate for that, the GOD can do much. Think of them, if you're not familiar with the Witcher universe, a bit of a Q figure, to borrow a term from Star Trek. So with that being in play, you can do whatever you would like. You can bring in the Wild Hunt, which is a campaign-changing event. Letho you can bring in, which is a separate quest that you will help to actively control Letho. As we talk in between sessions, we will have a conversation. Or, as Matt has displayed, you may donate to join the game yourself. You will then be put into a solo flashback episode where it is just one-on-one, you and the continent, and then you will be part of the narrative as you drop into this world, becoming a canon character for at least one episode. And so that's how you can change the game, affect whatever you would like as you watch The Witcher Family of Wraiths. But we know why we're here, we know how we can help, but how is this all possible? We have fantastic sponsors, the aforementioned Artausorian Games and the giveaway that they have. And then, of course, our virtual tabletop of choice, the sponsor of the channel, Roll20. So please go to www.roll20.net/start/tales from the Grim. Start your own free account right now. And I always like to tell my friends who are unfamiliar with virtual tabletops and just remember rolling on dining room tables. No matter how far your friends have gone around the globe, from north, south, east, or west, Roll20 will get them back together for you. Put them on a virtual tabletop. You can go into the continent, Dungeons & Dragons, Call of Cthulhu, all supported on Roll20, as is their fantastic features with dynamic lighting and fog of war and token changes. It's very easy. It's very fun to use. So I would strongly suggest getting your gang back together and taking the band into the fantasy world of your choice. But that's all that. And this is now. So without further ado, I will simply tell you this if you're catching up with us. A group was brought together by they know now, the murder of one of their friends, a fellow witcher by the name of Ezekon of Kreve. They all have a relationship, a tie to Ezekon. Some have mentioned it, some have revealed it, others hinted, some not at all. But at this moment, they are traveling to one of their companions, Ezran's family home, a home abandoned 200 years ago. It is believed that there are entities that exist in this place, entities that knew Ezran, entities that need to be dealt with. But that is the life of a witcher. You can toss a coin, and believe me, they're going to earn it. So let's bring in our cast. My friends, welcome back to The Witcher. And as we are walking up this hill, as you have already determined this to be in the bright sun of the day, it is a beautiful day. It is blue with just wisps of clouds present. You're walking into the mountains. You're walking up a rise. Every so often you can see that there was a once grand cobblestone road here, but it has since been powderized by time. A few flagstones remain, but there are weeds that choke them. Only brief splashes of something that isn't green hints that there is something beneath. But as your horses walk up, you can see in the distance that there is in fact a castle that is looming. And as this castle looms and strikes into your vision, it is a homeward release, perhaps, for Ezran. And that is who we will start with. Trooper, please tell us who we see riding a horse. What expression is on their face?
It's a young man, about 30 years old. At least that's what he looks like. And he's wearing fine, the clothes of a bard, sort of like a fine linen shirt and a tabard. He's got some double woven armor on. He has got sort of black hair, short cropped beard, piercing green eyes. He's got his hand is a little wrapped right where his ring finger would be, because he most recently had to rip his wedding ring off of his hand because one of the witchers wanted to inspect it and he's not yet gotten it back. A wedding ring that he's not removed for over 200 years. He is riding the horse well, and as he's approaching this castle, his home, where he grew up, and that was the last time he was there, the site of a terrible massacre. He is filled with sorrow, shame, a little bit of fear, and some confusion. They've learned that the person who signed the writ to execute Ezekon of Kreve, the Witcher, who was his son, was his old court advisor and mage, and also former lover, Kel Hello, who for some reason has signed the death warrant of his son who was recently murdered a few days past. He doesn't understand why that would happen, why she would do that, what's going on. But he's hoping that by going to his old estate, he might be able to sort of pick up a pendant that she had given him that might give them passage to speak to her now that she's risen to such an important position of power in the land. But he's still a little bit unsure of his footing, not really knowing what the politics are of this current moment, what will happen to him, to his companions, what mysteries are lingering, what it was that his son was working on so desperately right before he died. And he wants to find some way to make all of this right, but he doesn't know how. And he is afraid of who he might see when they arrive at his home.
What is with those thoughts in your head as Ezrin rides up a road that he would remember to be resplendent? It's not overly so, but it was the road of royalty. It was nobility. Roads such as these were small elements that, when combined with all of the other advancements that the higher class had, made true nobility. And as you catch the skyline, now not a shadow of what it formerly was, there are things that you remember. You remember seeing your wife as you twirled during your wedding dance in the ballroom of the estate ahead. Her looking as you spun, her hair spinning out of the hold and the clasp that she had placed it in for the ceremony. That is a good memory. But you are also reminded of very, very bad ones. You can see the babe that you put into the crib. It is not your babe. You do not know this child's name, but it has blue eyes like Ezekon or your son. But these eyes are slightly different. They're a little darker, not as much sky, less white, darker blue, a sadder blue. You remember them as you place the babe in what would become perhaps its final resting place. These are things that you remember walking this road that used to be resplendent. It is a memory out of time, like all memories are. JF, who do we see riding your horse?
Oh, my horse. Deuce's horse. Stout chestnut mare. You see a towering, muscle-bound man in hunter's clothing. So forest green trousers, forest green shirt with furs. He also wears a Lyrian leather jacket and leather trousers. There are two swords on his back. He's pensive. He's chewing on an apple. Looking at Ezrin out of the corner of his eye, trying to gauge his state.
And with the side eye towards your host for today, your gaze passes across another horse, this time being ridden by... Well, Prax, tell us, who is riding this horse?
It's a young woman. Dark of hair and tan of skin. Her eyes are a stormy gray, moves with the weather and her mood. She's perfectly erect on this very dark, almost black gelding. She rides comfortably, but it seems stiff in her movements. She doesn't expend a lot of energy if she doesn't need to. And she's watching everybody, keeping an eye out, keeping aware. But she's also trying to make sure that people don't go rushing for panic, that emotions don't overwhelm folk when they don't need to.
So everybody approaching differently, but on one of the other horses, tell us who we see, Billy.
See
a large, barrel-chested, muscle-bound as well, maybe slightly more muscle-bound. I don't know. We don't know. But he's also got a candy coating, if you will. He has, and the opportunities he's been given to eat, he does so. But his posture is slightly slumped over, his brow is furrowed, and he's just following suit. His mind is somewhere else, strategizing, thinking about all the possible outcomes of the potential of this future situation and how we can circumvent them, if we can circumvent them, and contingency plan after contingency plan.
So with the planning, we lead ourselves to the final horse. Josh, who do we see on this old horse without a name?
On a horse without a name, riding quietly towards the back. A single figure, quiet, somewhat simultaneously lost in thought and paying an unusual amount of attention to the surroundings, as if he's expecting something or someone. He's wearing dark greenish and brown leathers that easily blend with the local forest. Nowhere near as muscular as the other witches, but he has the same characteristic eyes. A pair of swords across his back, along with daggers to his hip, but most of it covered at the moment with a long cloak that he's donned for this. And as we're riding along, I think occasionally glancing towards this new member of the group that previously was traveling under a guise and now has been unveiled to us. And for the first time, there's a little bit of recognition, a little bit of perhaps even admiration, as he quietly from the back of the group where no one could see offers him a small smile that is devoid of any real good feeling, as he knows what's coming. Probably better than most. And he knows the trials the man is about to face.
And with those trials on your mind, you clear the distance to the ruins. What would be the grand expanse or the grand drive up to the old estate is now gone, but the witchers among you would know it's best to stake the horses too far away than too close. What do you do, my friends?
Leap off the horse and start tying it then.
And I follow the lead of Dusa, because when one is walking into a particularly dangerous situation, one should probably follow the lead of the witchers.
As the first witcher jumps off his horse and the noble among us, Ezran, jumps off his, Aris does so in suit, and he will take the reins of his horse, and as he's in the process of tying them off, he kind of glances to the horse for a moment and very quietly, just almost to himself, says, "Don't think I'm getting attached. You'll run off on me again." Because he feels nothing for this horse that has followed him for an unusual amount of time.
The horse, thick with emotion itself, takes a massive piss as you begin to talk.
Glad we understand each other.
I assume everybody else is dismounting?
Yeah. Verana ground hitch the horse and just kind of brush it slightly as she walks by, and she's used to traveling, and so she waits for the witchers to go first.
So as the five of you turn and face up towards the ancestral home of Ezran, we're going to flash back a bit to the previous night, where preparations for the Witchers are... No fight is rushed into, not when you're a professional. And we have two professionals and one retiree among us. But it is the retiree that has opted to attempt to make some potions to perhaps even the odds, level the playing field, whatever you want to use. But Dusa is going to be assisted by Varen. Tell us what you're doing, my friends.
See, I guess Dusa is starting with sorting the ingredients, getting each ingredient in its separate pile.
And Varan starts pulling out her mortal and pestle and other tools of her trade and laying them out very precisely, very neatly in front of her.
So as the ingredients have been collected through some foraging rolls that we made between sessions, with the applications of Swallow at stake, which is a regenerative potion for the Witchers, let's make some rolls. With Braun's help, you're going to be able to split the stamina, and I'm also lowering the DC to 15. So...
So is this an alchemy roll?
An alchemy roll, please.
There we go. All right. So it tries to distill the essence of these ingredients they've harvested. That's a 14.
Okay, the first one just doesn't take. As you get just to the end, you know it's at that point where you just boil off the impurities, and whether it's a fault, a crack, some type of dust gets in there that causes the entire balance, the entire concoction to turn bad. I'm going to allow you to make another alchemy roll again with a DC 15. This is to save one of the ingredients that we'll determine at a later date.
I took so rushed to try to do that. I'll look at Varan a bit embarrassed. That's a 20 this time.
You're able to save one of the ingredients, and I'll tell you for this first time since we're doing it, whichever one is the rarest of the ingredients used in this, I'll allow that to be saved. However, it can't be used again until the next time you do this. It needs time to dry out and all that good stuff. So now you do have the ability to make... You have 3 more chances. So if you still want to try to go for 3, you can.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, we still have enough ingredients for 3 more, yeah.
Yep. So go right ahead, still DC 15 as you all fall back into the bubbles and concoctions of alchemy.
So holding his breath, I'll try once more. This is 18.
This time, you reach that point of no return, and you are able to pull off the bottle, stopper it, and you have created your first dose of Swallow.
Oh, he exhales and looks at Varan, smile on the corner of his lips. Can I try again?
Let's do it.
All right.
This
16.
This one you feel it start to go, but you're able to, with the magical help at your side, you are able to keep it from boiling over and stop what you do. Your second dose is ready.
Lovely. Just one more. Oh, that's a 20.
And so, with just the situation being just slightly off with the first one, you have obtained your desired outcome of 3 doses, 3 potions of Swallow. These are all eligible to the Witchers to be taken. And mechanically, for those that are watching, Swallow is not like a health potion in other systems. It is a regenerative... I'm not even going to say it. Every round, you get 3 hit points back unless you get hit. Yeah. And if you get hit, it doesn't work. Much like if you are a troll in another system. But
tragic thing.
Yeah. So you're able to you're able to use those. They last for 20 rounds, but we also had the question, what if I'm knocked unconscious or making death saves? Unfortunately, it stops its effects at that time.
Yes.
Just throwing that out there in case it happens.
All right. Three potions for 3 witchers. This should work.
So as those are done, Stoppard and both the sorceress and the witcher are able to watch and see and test the color. The 3 look good. You are able to hand those off when we return to the present, and we are standing with the wind.
Can I try for the white honey?
If you would like to, sure.
Just in case, there's poison somewhere.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, why would
Somebody
there? Sure, I mean,
yeah, why would?
I mean,
Of course. Yeah, well, that's an 18 for the white honey.
And you have a dose of white honey.
Lovely.
So as we jump from the night prior to the present now, you are able to distribute, if you haven't already, those swallows. And I'd like to know, since we have 1 white honey, who is holding that?
Well, I did make it. So I'm just gonna hand the 2 other potions, the swallows, to the boys. Walk over to them and slip it to them.
Okay. So you are all in possession now of a potion of swallow, and before you lies the past. Ezrin, as the images of the dancing and the laying of a babe still rest in the corners of your mind, this is your home. Are you leading them in? Or are you directing them to go?
Well, as I have heard that there may be dangers, unnatural dangers, and I draw my Esboda and this dagger given to me by Eris made of blue meteorite. I let them go first, but I direct them to where we should be heading.
Well then, with direction, let me bring in another screen, and if you could direct your gazes you should be able to see a lovely ruin in the middle of the day.
And Dusa will slowly draw his silver sword.
Wim will take his helmet from his side and put it on his head.
Aris will take his bow and he will string it, take an arrow, and just knock it. And whilst the other 2 are sort of probably looking towards the fort, I would like to check the surrounding areas for any signs that there is anything else that has been drawn here.
Roll me an awareness check then, Josh, as Eris looks around. Crit.
That's 32.
32 is pretty good, my friend. As you take a moment to look around, just glancing, looking for any signs of passage, with a 32, you notice that there are boot marks that lead into the ruins. They look made. They don't look like prints or bare feet. You do remember from the vision that you saw the hydromancy, Ezekon of Kreve did come into this place, but you're not sure exactly when in relation to the day of his death. It could have been the day before. It could have been a month. Regardless, with the role that you have, you just... Sphinx, thank you, my friend. With that role that you have, you could see these boots leading in. Everybody, Sphinx just donated How do you like that silver? So all of your rolls have +2.
I hold up my hand, and I'm gonna take a moment. I'll take one of my knives, crouch by the edge of this boot print, and just take my knife and push it down into the boot print. I want to see how soft is the ground. Is it filled with rainwater? Can I get any approximation with another roll of how long ago he was here?
No, with that crit, I'm going to say with the additional looking, as you kind of bear down and really examine this, using that bonus kind of that you received from the crit, I'll let you know that this seems to be closer to the time that you have been told Ezekon died. It's sooner rather than earlier. So, yeah, you would think that this is relatively fresh.
He was here.
Hmm.
Not long ago. Ground's not baked yet in the sun. Water hasn't drained. Rainfall a couple of days ago.
Hmm.
Curious.
Ponder. He was but a babe when I gave him to a Witcher ally for protection. I wonder, did he know his whole life who he was? Did he learn more recently? What brought him to this place in this moment?
I don't know that you'll get an answer to that, Your Highness. I don't know that any of us can give an answer to that.
Must have had an idea that this was home. Must have found out.
Imagine any man's curious about his past.
Indeed.
Especially an orphan from a Witcher school. We're all orphans there.
But methinks this seems so deliberate. Seeking me out, he found me. Seeking out this home. He was moving, putting things in motion. I just wish, and I cannot help but feel that whatever he was putting in motion is what caused a writ to be written for him.
He did have a habit of upsetting folk.
Well, yeah.
Was he born here?
He was.
Wim will try to gander around for like pieces of cut wood or trees that were chopped down from this location.
Sure, go right ahead and roll me an awareness, please. You don't find anything that's been cut down, but you find that there has been some standing dead that seems to have been trimmed, branches taken off. Sort of the scene left undisturbed and only taken from it what was already past. No new fresh cuts, though.
The dead trees. The stuff that burns easily. That was taken. I bet he used some of the wood here to build his pyre.
Build a pyre.
His funeral pyre. Where he began, he wanted elements of that to see it to his end. Makes sense?
Well, that's supposing he knew he was going to die.
Build a funeral pyre a few days before you're killed. if you don't know it's coming.
Good gentles, I know that he was planning on breaking the curse upon me, but methinks that not be enough to cause a writ of execution. Unbreaking my curse should not be any great danger, so perchance there was something else.
I think Varan mentioned it the other day. Perhaps he was killed because nobody believed he was your son, and that he was some kind of imposter.
That's what could get a writ written. But somebody might have put forward that he was and who knew that he was your son. Your entire family was killed in this building, sacked, sir. Politics. And then all of a sudden, a prince comes home, searching for what he lost. Might upset some people.
Politics from 200 years ago, might I add.
That's not so long.
Is there anything he would stand to gain by being your heir?
It is difficult to know, considering I know not all of the details of the current politics. I know that we were once a collection of principalities and duchies, and that this place stood as the marches between these principalities and the Elven lands. I know that Caingorn coveted these lands to sort of create some sort of power base for himself. And it seems, from what I learned from Sheila that he did, that Cairngorn is no longer a principality but a kingdom, and that this whole place is now unified under the Hengsford lead, under their direct control. So it seems they did well with the destruction of my home.
Wait, double checking, just for me, DM. Are we east or west of the Kestrel Mountains?
You are slightly west of the Kestrels, so you're in the area of Kedwin, where you're just at the border of what would be, because the Kestrels are unclaimed. The Kestrels kind of are a neutral area. So with the Kestrels, the eastern slopes of the Kestrels between Blue Mountains and Kedwin, then the Kestrels, you're right at that kind of where the foothills where they go up into that area.
Thank you.
When you drop on the other side of the Kestrels heading west, then you would land in what is now Hangforce League.
Mm-hmm. So, but we're still in... So we're technically in Kedwin?
You're technically in unclaimed land.
Okay.
But it has a trade route that goes through it. You would know this because of just general travel. There is a trade route that goes through it from Hangforth to Kedwin. A very, very populated one.
Quick question. Dusa, in observing Ezrin, he's been trying to gauge whether this man can fight at all. And he's a bit too embarrassed to ask him because he doesn't want to insult him.
You want to do a human perception roll to see if you just basically see how the weight is being shifted while they're walking along? Does he have a fighter's stance or a fighter's gait? You can do that.
Yeah, he's been observing him for a little while. Human perception, that's another empathy, right? Okay.
You all are awesome at that.
Yeah, which is a great empathy.
Yes. Strong 8.
Yeah. Ezrin looks like a fighter born.
Yeah?
Yeah. So, no, you can't. You can't get anything, nothing, there's no tells that give away one way or the other.
Okay, so he's going to stay close to Ezrin.
All right, so...
With a skeptical look on his face.
Skeptical look. And Ezrin says to Varan, my lands were mountainous, but the trade that we had between the Elven lands and further west was important. We were small, but valuable, and we wanted to make peace with the elves after the massacre. I think there perhaps were many reasons why Caingorn coveted my lands, and also my wife.
Also your wife. Right. Well, he didn't get a good deal in getting... If he got her, then she must have got him.
Mhm.
One hopes.
Poetic justice.
Hate to break this up, but Wim,
Yeah.
I reckon you should hold on to it.
Will I be having that back?
It depends.
You don't want it right now.
I have a look around. I'm not going in. Just the edges. But it's here. I can smell it.
Let's stick together then.
In what was the throne room, or the receiving area, under the dais where the throne sat, there should be a secret compartment where I kept important papers and items. There shall we find the pendant and signet ring.
Tell me, Ezrin, did you have a sword?
I did.
You know where that is?
If it is not destroyed by rust, it should also be in that compartment.
Well, I'll get it for you.
Ezrin, I want to make something perfectly clear. I want you to stay as close to me as you can throughout this whole ordeal. Understand?
I do, good Master Wim. He just slides a little bit closer to Wim. His grip on his sword tight, and his grip on the dagger in his offhand also tight, with this sort of look of seeing the castle, the ruins of the castle before him, not knowing what will be there.
We'll wait for Oris to come back. Then we'll enter. Sound like a plan?
Aye.
What's the point of him going in there alone?
Doesn't have to. I'll be right there. He's just gonna do the talking.
I see.
Out of curiosity, Your Highness, where were you when you were cursed? Just last thing you recall.
It was the night of the massacre. We were in the castle, awaiting Caingorn's arrival. I had been alerted that this visit would be a betrayal. A noble who was an ally told me that this was not a normal state visit, that it was to be something else. I had made precautions. We were here, but in the throne room, my wife and I, the whole court, they came, but then they came with a militia. There was more than I could imagine, and some of my own soldiers turned, and I saw they murdered my mother, everyone. It was slaughter. I fought as best I could. They asked if the crown prince in the crib was mine. I said it was, though it was not. And I recall when they killed the babe, I heard a scream. There were so many screams. And at that moment, I felt something. And I was stabbed. I fell. Everything seemed to be on fire. I don't recall much, but the next thing I knew, I had awoken in the ruins of this place. The fire gave me a fear that was too much to bear, unnatural, and I fled into the woods. And it was not long until I realized that I was not in my own form or my own self. But then I could not remember much more. It all becomes then a dream.
So you are cursed in this throne room then?
I was.
When Aris gets back, would one of you fine witchers escort me at least to the door to make sure that you're not walking in with an active curse still flowing? Or is that unacceptable for you all?
I'm sorry?
He was cursed in this throne room.
Hmm.
And while the creature might be a problem for you to deal with, I just want to make sure that you're not walking in going to be tripping off anything. But I would prefer not to be doing it with by myself.
Maybe the three of us can walk in at the same time.
I think that would be wise.
By three of us, I mean me, Varen, and Ezrin.
Okay. Wow. Why should I stay out here then?
Because the one that can do the most damage is the one that's left unseen.
And I'm not staying very long.
All right.
Aris should be back any moment now.
Yes. Like last time. All right.
Right about there would be where Varen would need to check.
Yep.
Are you going in?
Are we waiting for Aris?
It's a plan.
I cannot imagine the curse is still active as I stand before you as a man and not a beast hungry for blood.
I've seen some things that curses that weave like baskets.
Well, the curse might not be active on you. There are ways that you can layer magic in a place that the unawary can trip it off again.
I see.
Eris says you have made your way around the whole map as everybody's been talking about the rest of this. I will let you know that with your awareness roll of 25, you are able to see that there are prints on the ground. Now, it's difficult to tell exactly, but without the need for Witcher training or anything like that, you would all know that ruins are just a lovely place that collects things like neckers and things that want to stay out of the sun, things that want to have a pre-made home to carry bones into Danal. These are not prints that are relatively fresh. You would probably put them about the same time that Ezekon was here, but they're definitely things that have left depressions around here. You're not sure if it's one creature or a dozen. There's relatively little change in creatures like neckers, but this is similar. It's a similar type of print.
Oh boy.
Aris slinks out of the dark, well, of the shadow of the ruin, approaches and... Well, it's popular. And I presume the residents aren't exactly hosting anymore, so one would assume we've got things living in that have moved in. My guess, something along the line of neckers, some other goblinoid, maybe necrophages, but there's not a lot of death around here, so my money's on something that likes the quiet, the dark, shelter.
What should we know before entering?
They're not that tough, but they're fast and more cunning than you'd probably expect.
Have you heard any tales of being a noble that you are?
Tales of this area in the last 200 years, Master
This
Wynn?
area of curses, of forlorn lovers.
There are
of
many
Wraiths.
stories and tales.
You might have to do some talking. You might have to uncover some real deep shit. But if we fail, if that fails, then we fight. I've never had a Wraith encounter end peacefully. Are we ready?
Wait, before we do, sir. You think
Yes.
you can slow this thing down if it comes to it?
I could slow it down.
And Wim, you reckon you could keep him safe?
So, yeah. That's my main concern.
There's a crack in the wall towards the back. I could get on the other side. If you draw it towards the front, I might be able to get that pendant.
You mentioned there were others here, potentially watching. That
Around
would
about the
expose
same
you-
time Ezekon was here. So, we're either going to find bodies in a burnt nest, or there's going to be a couple of them, in which case, if I spot them, I'll come straight back to you. No playing hero, no shenanigans.
Keep your eye out. If you go to that point as a pinch point, you leave your back exposed and you've got no support.
Well,
You
Let's
can do
just
the
hope-
same amount of damage from an angle near us or from the entrance.
but I wouldn't be able to snag that pendant. We don't have Wraith oil. We don't know what curse is on Ezran.
One, get it right. It's Spectre oil. Two, it's a gamble, but you make your own decisions.
And 3, don't worry, I can always find him, and I can always talk to him.
All right, that's it.
Alright,
So one last question, Wim.
Yeah.
The that magic, the sign you'll be using, the active shield, you'll be
Quinn. Yeah.
you'll be protecting. Will you be protecting Ezran with that?
I'll be protecting Ezran with my body. Quinn doesn't work like that.
Sure, it does. The enhanced sign, if you can cast it.
They don't have the vigor, my friend.
Oh, then I think it would be best if he stayed with me, because I can protect him using the active shield sign.
give me 2 minutes.
How far can you cast it?
He needs to be pressed against me, which is going to be awkward, but it will keep him safe, and I can use bowfire maybe.
We could, I think, if we throw down a Yerden trap
All right, that as well. Yeah, it's going to be exhausting.
But it'll make it corporeal. So it'll be a lot easier to do anything from a Yerden trap, including stop it and prevent it from going after Ezrin.
Right. So who's going to do the trap then? Shall I do it?
You can. I can. Doesn't particularly matter. But I'm going to cast Quinn on myself as soon as we get to the entrance.
Is it difficult to do this trap?
No.
Oh, it's just a magic circle on the ground, really.
I mean, it would be difficult for you to do it.
I just wondered if it would be difficult for you gentlemen.
Witchers, your medallions begin to tingle.
All right.
Game on.
Game on. What?
Where
So-
are we going? Are we checking curses? Are we...
Yeah.
If I will try to keep Ezrin at my side and then escort Varen side by side to where she needs to be.
So,
Get me to the top of the stairs.
As the two of you climb up the stairs, much like the cobblestones that led you to this place, they crack beneath you as the edges that were once fine granite have weathered over 200 years. They suffer from your steps as you lightly pad up what once was, you can only assume, the grand audience chamber of Ezrin's family is open to the sky above. It's perhaps understated a bit, but it was likely magnificent in its day. What do the rest of you do?
and who says with them? On the other side of Ezrin, drawing his bow. And keeping an eye out. Sniffing the air.
The wind begins to howl. It picks up, carries the past into the air, stinging a bit as the fine granules of the sand and the broken stone touch cheeks and backs of hands that are ungauntleted. Begins to move, and the wind begins to speak. A sob at first, but then the notes of the sob lengthen, and they do not stop as a wail begins to breathe out of the area. Nothing is seen. Eris, you are the proverbial hunter beneath the hooting owl, where you hear this blast come as if it's just behind your shoulders, but upon inspection you do not see anything. The medallions around your neck, the viper, the griffin, the bear, are literally bouncing against metal-clad or cloth-clad chests. Ezrin, you see your home. Varen, I need you to roll what you do best.
26.
The curse is no more, but you can see where it was placed a long time ago. But there is something here, and it has been getting madder and more powerful for a very long time.
Well, she's not happy. She's really pissed. but she isn't going to walk in through the doors and going to cause you problems. At least not yet. I'll help as I can, but I need to see what I'm hitting.
That
Most of the
certainly is her, and not some other creature.
Your wife? I don't know exactly who was pissed, but she's definitely she was a woman at some point. No one cries like that that's not.
Have you ever heard a man with his arms torn off?
No.
Yeah, but men cry over bleeding for the littlest thing in the world.
Also the sniffles.
The sniffles are terrible.
Case in point.
I'm going to stand behind you all and let you fight the very big scary thing that's very strong and getting stronger. And when I can see it, I'll help you.
Dusa will go for that active shield now.
I will ask for your... You all have potions. I saw that somebody mentioned
the potions as well.
Swallowing up. I didn't know if that was something that you all tell me, because obviously I am not going to take agency away and say that you must do it at a specific time, nor will I remind you from this point forward.
Yeah,
well,
I'm not going to drink mine just yet, but I'm going to drink this beer.
Well, that's unfortunate because
Billy
Dusa wanted to have a toast.
Billy, show everybody your beer, by the way, which is an actual Witcher potion bottle, everyone.
Oh, that is so
yeah?
cool.
There you go.
That is so cool.
Wow.
$10 on Amazon. I mean, I made it myself.
Oh.
I will, as approaching the gate and preparing to walk in, like he physically readies his body and then goes, Quinn, and cast Quinn on himself using 2 stamina for 10 bonus hit points.
Okay. And you're going into the room?
I'll be prepping, glancing back to see if Ezrin will follow.
I do. I have been told to stick with the Witchers, and I do.
Which one? Dusa or Wim?
Oh. I was told that I need to press my body in a manly way up against Dusa, so
It's just the conditions of the magic.
it's fine, no judgment. And
All right, well,
I stay near Dusa.
all right, and he's going to do his sign, the Quen sign, but the more elaborate one. And so that will envelop both him and Ezrin.
So you're towards the back then?
Yeah, move yourselves on the map to
Yeah.
where you would like to be.
Okay. Stop shouting. Let's see. There. Okay. All right. Which one am I?
I feel like on that map, Eris is hiding.
Yeah, where is Eris?
Hiding.
Eris is in Novigrad right now.
You don't fucking. I messaged chat. I'm like, I
Where the
left.
fuck is Eris?
That's it, I'm done.
What do you expect from a viper?
Oh, fuck, that's not too.
Shade towards me.
The shade of it all.
Right. There. With the bell. A silver arrow, by the way.
That puts Wim up front.
So,
Yeah, I have to stay next to you, so.
yep.
Wim
Wim,
will turn
Varen,
back.
Eris, where are we?
Wim will turn back to Ezrin. If she calls, answer. If she attacks, abandon all hope. Clear?
I suppose.
And don't lie to her.
Yes, but what if we drew the circle here in this doorway and drew her through the doorway?
Got to know who she is first.
Yeah.
She stayed here for hundreds of years.
Just had a feeling she was getting closer, looking at his medallion.
Yeah, or bigger.
Or bigger. Okay. Great.
All right. So Wim will slowly walk forward with an open hand that he put the ring in, walking closer, like a meter at a time, slowly stopping, gauging what's going on around him, taking another step towards the center.
I got you covered.
And as nothing continues to happen, edge closer and closer, extending his hand with the ring in it.
Ezrin would like to sort of gesture to Dusa to sort of move into the threshold of the doorway so that he can see what is there.
All right. Just will comply. Move up.
The wind
Keeping an eye
howls
out.
again, but there is no wail associated with it this time. Instead, there is a question. Where is my beloved?
Here. Is this not your beloved?
Step forward.
And everyone can hear that.
We see anything? Or just hearing? Just hearing.
Just hearing.
You were to
I will
closer.
step forward.
I'm gonna step forward with you as we're bound together, pressed together.
Like Laverne and Shirley.
Yes.
A light joke for a dark time.
Because it's going to be bad. That's all. Just saying.
House and Pebble Incorporated.
Do I recognize the voice at all?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good. I thought you were going to say no.
Well, It's not often that people intonate the way that this is happening, but yeah, you recognize the voice. It again, instead of a question, a command. Take your place.
Elizabeth?
Take your place.
Did you
He
have
thinks-
a grave?
Where's your place?
He thinks it is the throne.
Well, let's go.
Okay.
I will walk towards the throne, trailing Wim alongside Dusa.
Oops.
They are commoner rabble. Only you.
Yeah, what's with your wife?
We are traveling companions.
And we are wed.
He will look to Varen, way back there, to see if she has some input on this.
As soon as Varen enters,
Oh,
who is that?
an ally, my love.
Wife jealous?
Command her to leave.
My dearest, dear heart, You have nothing to fear of her presence. I have returned.
Dearest, I'm not asking.
He says.
So was she always this bossy?
It was a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Your Highness. I'll leave if that is your wish. And she'll step back. Can I step back enough that I can still see them, but without going down the stairs? Without being in the room?
Because of your earlier magic roll, I'll let you know that there is an awareness, like a target on you. You can sense it, like somebody looking at you. But when you get about to the level, when you step like midway down the steps, where your eyes kind of reach the level of the floor, you feel it subside.
Okay.
So if you like pull yourself back to like right
here?
there, yeah, like down a little bit more, you'd be fine. Just as long as you're.
Yeah, I just need to see them.
I will move towards the dais. What is left of that particular throne room, or sort of throne alcove, really?
It's just raised. There's no chair anymore. There's no indication. There's just a spot in the center.
I will look at my two companions.
Take your place.
Beloved, what happened? I say as I move closer, but not yet on the dais. Just, moving in.
No need for a roll here. There is rage. You return after all this time. And you will not follow simple wishes. Send them away.
Beloved, a court must be full of voices and of people.
You are not in command here. I am queen.
Sir, fall back. Do, sir. Fall back.
I'll grab Ezrin then and fall back. I'll drag you if I have to.
Just as you all decide that you're going to do that, the wind circles and pulls at hair. Eris, as you have been frantically trying to figure out what has become of this secret compartment and why it is empty, as you are looking beneath, there's no indication that this was a recent theft, as dust is thick, cobwebs are thick in this compartment. And as you are all standing there, wind taking your cloaks and your hair, doing what it will, Varen, you hear from directly behind you, Mother, what's my name? And you feel claws.
It's not the first time. Probably won't be the last.
21.
Do I get to roll a dodge on that?
You do.
Cool. $15.
Okay, and I think with a 6, I get to do something else.
You do.
So as we begin, I need you to roll a d12 for me.
Mm-hmm. Nine.
As the creature with eyes that are a little too blue to be Ezekon of Kreve's, a little too blue, but otherwise a fair match for what would have been the babe Ezekon. The botchling grabs hold of the sorceress, bites down onto her ribs. That is going to do 19 points of damage with the crit that was levied against you. How are you?
I mean, I'm bleeding, but I'm still standing.
Roll-
And she's not happy now.
And I think I was doing low to high for... No, actually, I was doing low because of Call of Cthulhu. You are also suffering from the bleed condition. Put it on you. Zoom in a bit. You have cracked ribs now, which means that you are currently at a -2 to body. So any
Cool.
rolls that require body will be done at a -2, as you can barely catch your breath. But this creature bites with a vice onto your side, and you feel your ribs shift and snap beneath it as it pulls back. What's my name? I need everybody to roll me some initiative.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
If you would like to, you can also click your...
Remember, we get a +2 on our rolls?
You get +2 on your rolls, everybody. Oh! You get a +2 on your roll. You wouldn't have gotten the critical.
Yes.
And do you add the +2 in?
Oh yeah, I added them on.
Okay.
No, I added them in.
Okay. Thank you
I
for
just
being
rolled
honest.
like shit. Let's see. What did I end up? Yeah, I rolled a 2 on that. That's what happened. On that dodge.
Is it? Oh well, I have no idea that that's happening yet. I don't think any of us do, right?
Well, I imagine I imagine we could hear the creepy voices of the creepy murdered baby. I'm imagining. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it didn't feel like the creepy murdered baby was being quiet.
In the hall.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
It's not
No,
that
he's not in
quiet.
the hall. He's not in the hall.
I feel like we maybe heard it. Like, I don't know. Those are my thoughts. That we heard the
Awareness.
creepy baby.
Awareness, please.
Okay, everybody. Yeah, make sure you're clicking on your people and rolling your initiative. It'll throw you into our turn tracker, which is a fun little thing from Roll20 that allows me not to go crazy. Josh, with a 20, you feel the wind begin to whip around you as you have a loose through that crack in the back of the wall. You can see that everybody is kind of huddled up at the entrance to the alcove, and as they move in, you see... Give me a moment to pull the rest of my friends.
Oh, Greg, I couldn't add the +2 to the initiative, so it's a 14.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. Same. I think same for all of us.
If we
Yeah.
all have +2.
Oh,
Yeah.
actually, I can add it.
Yeah, so I have a mine was actually the first roll was an 18, but I rolled again to add it to initiative and it came out as a 20, so I'll just take the 20 as the 18 +2.
Okay.
First roll.
Yeah. The only reason that's important is, just in case that changes my turn order.
Right. 3 creatures begin to spin and whip around the gathered 3. Eris, they zip right past you. As you see them move right over your shoulder where the voice had come from before, that wail, they were in fact there. And with this cyclone and dust beginning to swirl, they begin to dance. And these 3 begin to spin and twirl like it is on their marriage night as they lean and move. A bit of their hair that's still on the skull pulls free. Who is... Let me go ahead and just throw one of them on here. Okay. Eris, what would you like to do first, my friend?
What are they as they come by?
Roll me Witcher training.
It's a 23.
Looks like a noon wraith to you.
I'm going first.
You are.
How wide is Yidrin?
10 feet.
Is there any... I'm trying to see if I can get all of them. Will it go through... That's a wall, isn't it?
It's a wall, but they're passing in and out, in and out, in and out.
Okay. Well, I am going to...
Show me where you'd like, and I have this to put down. Boop.
Ooh.
Oh.
Look at me planning ahead, everybody. What? Look at
Yeah.
look at that. There we go.
Okay.
So that's about as much as it'll take up right there.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, I am going to... Shit.
That's a free action.
Yeah. I should. It's a free action. God, this is not how we wanted this to go. Okay, cool. I'm going to wait. Do I have ambush technically? If they haven't seen me, I don't know if they haven't seen me.
You don't know
Yeah,
that,
I don't
right?
fucking know that. What am I talking about? Okay, I'm going to see if I have ambush, and I'm going to, as it comes directly for Ezran, I am going to step around this corner, and with both blades in hand, and I'm going to try and slice this thing to pieces.
Make an attack as you get to act first here, my friend.
Okay. Do I have any bonuses to my joint attack?
You don't have any... Yeah, you took +2 to your swordsmanship.
Mm-hmm. But I don't have ambush.
No.
Okay, shit. In which case, I will go in from one side and... Making joint attack is... One. Nope. Silver, yes. It's a 23. 2 23s, technically.
Just to see. And... You see your blade strike true as it hits the form and passes right through it.
My silver blade?
Passes right through it.
Oh.
The winds are howling.
So no damage whatsoever?
None that you can
Okay.
see.
Okay, I am going to... Can I still move? I've moved like...
Absolutely, yeah.
18, so like I've moved like 5 feet. I'm gonna move over towards the altar. or towards this dais back here. Actually, I'll go there and get next to Edrin.
Okay.
Before.
And if that is the end, it is Ezrin. As 3 images of your fallen wife dance about you, screaming.
I would like to initiate verbal combat.
Okay.
Perhaps.
I'll let you know that verbal combat is something with someone that can be reasoned with.
I'm gonna try at this. You can try.
You can.
Right?
You can try anything.
You can try. I mean, it's entirely possible that we're not getting any reasoning over here at all, but I thought I could try, just at least for this round, before people are corporeal. I'm going to do I think it's a persuade. I think, yes, I'm going to persuade. And I'm going to say, my love, I have been gone for 200 years and now I have returned to make things right. Please, let us speak. There is no need for violence in this moment. This should be a time of joy, of reunion, not of violence. My love.
Roll your persuasion.
Yep. Okay. That was a fumble. So it's currently a 19. 17. I'm still pretty persuasive.
You are. All
But,
three. All three faces look at you as you say this. They do not slow the dance, but as one, they say, "You are not queen here." Anything else?
I believe that is my action.
Also, just so you know, the Wraith benefits from something called Rage Eternal, which means they cannot be reasoned with.
Had to try.
You do.
especially while
You
they're
can try
incorporeal.
anything, right?
Especially while they're incorporeal. I thought that might be the way to go. Mm-hmm.
All right. So if there isn't anything left, I think we go to Wim. Wim, what have you got, my friend?
Does he perceive the 3, or can with it where he's standing right now? Does he just see the 1 because of the wall?
You can see they're spinning and they're going in and out of the walls as like a carousel around the group of you. They're dancing all like they're not passing. Eris kind of moved when he came in, but they're definitely circling you, Dusa, and Ezrin in this kind of like ring around the rosy sort of dance.
But so they're all. Okay.
You can see the 3. Yeah, you can see 1 disappear and then 2 more pop up and 1. So you can gauge that there's 3.
Cool. I'm going to cast Yurden directly in the line of fire and like in their path.
Okay, you want to put it like right here?
Yep, and then I will spend 2 points on it, so it's -2 to their reflex and speed.
Okay, take your. Oops, let me. Now I'm going to drop that into a different layer. I can do. And one of them does hit, and when it hits in the dance, you see it grab and slow, and you see that the gossamer gown that it wears becomes less translucent.
Okay. Can I have another? Do I spend a stamina to make another action, or is it just movement?
I'll let you spend 3 stamina if you want to like attack. Yeah.
I'm going to take 3 stamina, and I'm going to go for a grapple.
Okay.
Which is, let me bring that up on my phone because there's so many things to keep track of.
It should be a body for you, isn't it?
It's
Body or athletics if you want to use it. I think body if you want to take them down, and athletics.
It's brawling.
Oh, then do a brawl.
Yeah. Posed brawling. Up weapon selection. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Sorry. There's lots of.
There you go.
24.
Okay, and it has this to. So as you move in and grab it for a moment, you are dancing. And you can feel it and smell the decay, the rot, as you are twirling with it inside the Yurden symbol, as the kind of spectral candles pop up, the purple glowing wisps of smoke drifting off of each of the arcane constructs. And for a moment, much like Ezran and his sort of dead wife did 200 years plus ago, the dance in this ballroom is continuing.
And so how I would like to envision the grapple as I inside the Yurden, I grab it and we're dancing for a moment, and then I let go of the forearm and wrap my forearm like into the armpit and bring her close to me so our faces are at the same level. And then at the end of the turn, I've got one, come to me.
And that does indeed go out to the area. And Varen, you would have had a 14, correct? So as a Witcher starts to dance, I'll move you ahead of the botchling. And what do you do?
Well, I don't like fighting with things that eat me, and I don't like bleeding. So I'm going to reach out and point at it and just say curse loudly or softly. And I get to do this. And for 26, as I cast, just for your information, Karis's Hail, which means that every point he gets a dodge.
Ooh, a fumble.
Oh, sucks to be him.
10 total.
Which means I get to 10. I get a maximum of 5, so I get to roll an additional 5d6. Cold damage, so that's 17 cold freezing on him, and there are 5 individual pellets, so he needs to make 5 attempts to not get frozen.
Oh, okay, so that is... What's the save for that? Resist magic, or...?
No, it's just the freeze. He has an odds. It's a 25%.
Okay.
And so each difference between my roll and his is an additional d6 and an additional pellet. So.
All right, so this would be, you want to see something that's 0 to 25. Okay. Mm-hmm. 53. So it's able to kind of push them out of its body or pluck them off. But unlike Igor, the friendly rock troll, he doesn't eat them.
Yes, but I have 5. It's 5 individual attacks.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said 5% for each one. All right.
No, it's 25% to hit, and it's 5 individual attacks. Sorry.
1.
It basically counts.
2.
So he's doubly frozen.
Okay. So that hinders movement, correct?
Yep.
Let me make sure.
And
I'll put his. We have our handy dandy. Where's my
it hinders reflex in dodge and cuts his speed down, I believe.
Right. Let me.
I don't have that one part really up. I should.
I do. Let me make sure I have it correct though. Yeah, -1 to reflex and -3 to speed.
Yeah.
I'll put that
And
in.
then, because I really don't like this fucking thing, and I don't like being close to it, I'm going to, she reaches up to a hand to her throat, and she's gonna do something a little panicky, but aggressive. And she hasn't quite done this before, but she's gonna try it now. And she's gonna teleport the fuck away from this bullshit. And because yes, I would spend stamina to do this. I spend 3 additional stamina to do this. And I get to do nope. And I saw the room, right? Yeah. So then it's just me. Then it's just regular spell casting. So she's just it's a 19. I'm fine. She's gonna go over here and say fuck that thing.
$13 + 2.
Yeah, 15. You would technically have gone before me.
I'm muted, of course. The eyes are all being drawn from to where Wim is dancing with one of the wraiths, and just over the shoulder of the dancing pair, alive and dead, you see Varen kind of in the middle of something like that, pop up, blood on the side of her clothing, just
And-
out of nowhere.
And she's gonna yell out, Your Highness, the child wants to know its name. Because she doesn't want to piss off the Wraith, but she does want the Witchers to know that there's a fucking botchling on the table.
With that knowledge, let us go to Dusa. Dusa, what would you like to do, my friend?
So Dusa has heard this from Varen?
Yes.
Okay. He's gonna look at her and then quickly turn his attention to Will. He'll move forward, his blade up high in the high guard, and he'll tell Wim to duck and go in with an overhead strike. Overhead slash. Strong strike.
Nice.
With his silver sword.
So with your +2, this is only a -1. So.
But yeah, not bad. Hold on. All right. Sorry, I had plenty of time to get ready for this. And here we go. Oh dear.
That was just your damage there. Roll me a swordsmanship, if you would, please.
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
Okay.
We have the damage ready.
Yes. Reflexes, swordsmanship, strong strike. Damn. And target location. He's going for the head.
Okay.
It's a headshot. Yeah.
Skill roll with an 8. I won't make Whim roll anything for this because perhaps the duck wasn't at the best possible angle, but even with disadvantage, its base is higher than that, so it's still kind of flickering in and out of its etherealness, even with Whim holding on. And
He's gonna chase with a thrust,
okay,
downward thrust, so as not to impale Whim. That's at all possible. And that's gonna be another strong one.
and that's going to be 3 stamina lost too.
3 stamina lost as well. Target location. This time he's going for the torso. There.
Okay, with a 15, as you do strike true and pierce into the back of the dancing former bride, current bride, and Whim, you would feel the creature disappear in your arms as it just explodes into arcane dust, and you would see some dust actually collect on the floor of the Yurden symbol as it's kind of sitting there with wisps coming up out of it. What would you all, anything else you would like to do some?
No, he's gonna stick with Ezran and stand in front of him. So he's gonna step between him and the other creature there, if he can. That's like so. They're pressed together.
Okay.
So, yeah. Now the fact that they're pressed together, is that an issue at all for him fighting?
Back to back, like in all the movies.
All right. Okay. Back to back. I like that. Yeah, there we go.
We're super hardcore right now.
Okay.
I
cool.
realize
Yeah,
I was just trying to talk to a ghost, but still.
For those of you watching at home, DM or GMs, you can be a real asshole here and absolutely apply hindrances when people are trying to fight beside each other or in close quarters. I'm not going to for this because it's already tough with winds howling, but that's an option that you have in the system. So
Back to back, like in the movies.
Yes. So that's it for Duso.
So,
And maybe he'll just shout to Varen, join us, something like that.
let's see. Meanwhile, outside, let's see, where do I want this? So I'll just go with this. Oh, that's not what I need. Sorry. My bad. It's not right. Botchling does not enter. But I need Dusa, Ezran, and Whim to take 6 hit points of damage, please.
Ooh.
As the dance continues.
Oh.
Do we know why we're taking 6 hit points of damage?
You believe it has something to do with the dancers, and that you are in the center of the spin.
Dusa the Quen?
It bypasses all armor.
Yeah. That's some magical protection there, a magical shield.
Yeah, damage it causes.
I've been pumping stamina into it. I gotta do it every round.
Oh, but it looks.
It takes the shield has 10 hit points for every stamina point I spent, and I spent 5.
And that's more than your vigor, though. So
4.
Yeah.
4.
But I will tell you this: it bypasses it all.
Mm-hmm.
As
Really?
you all take health damage from the Wraith.
And Dusa's hurt and astonished.
Yeah, because it says Quinn can be used to defend against any spell which can be blocked, but is ineffective against damage caused by spells which cannot be blocked.
What? So we get the damage anyway. Okay.
You too. So with that, the one last thing I would like to do
And then I gotta put some more. Hold on.
You would all see in the center of the room a wraith stand up, peeling up through the dais in the center as a presentation, and it seems to be wearing a pendant.
I just want to ask. This wraith, who does she look like? If anyone? No one? Totally
This is your wife too.
Oh, I knew it.
And she found the amulet
she
of
did.
your lover that was secreted away because she had 200 years to look for it.
Yeah, I suspected as much, and I feel like she's not happy about it.
Can I speak as free action, or do I need to wait for my turn?
You say something, sure.
I, with my dagger, level it at that and say, "That is really her."
You would all hear it.
Yeah.
Just been waiting for her to pop her fucking head up.
And pop her fucking head up she does, and she turns and looks at Varen. And Varen, I'm going to need you to make sure I get this right. Oh, you get to resist it, so hold on.
Coercion or magic?
Oh, it's a fumble too. Boy, I'm rolling a lot of fumbles tonight. I don't know what that's all about. Not real happy about it. It's 12. Resist magic, please.
My base is 15.
Okay, so in the resist it you do. But
I mean, like, I can roll it. Just...
Yeah, because like the fumble.
yeah,
for fumble, but
as she
that's a 23.
as she turns and appears, you see her gesture, and it's almost like a half-assed gesture. She just kind of moves like this, and you feel yourself pelted around the face with dust and stone as all of this material seems to be seeking your eyes.
And Varan just kind of negligently waves it away and says, "You would have done better if you'd gone to school, dear."
If she had a bottom jaw, perhaps she would smile. Back up to the top, friends, I think. Eris.
Can I change weapons to my bow?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the fast skill, you just spend 3 stamina and you can put and draw weapons
Okay.
back and forth.
I will do so. Also, I didn't realize Quen was saying you had to recharge every round. So I've taken off the things for casting it, but as my character would probably know that, I probably wouldn't have cast it just while I was sneaking about.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. I completely understand that. Yeah, you didn't have to burn through stamina. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I will drop that, and up top, I will spend my stamina to do switch weapons, and I'm going to shoot her, the real her, and just see just with a normal arrow, just to see what she does. So this will be 1 +2. That's a crit. I can't wait for this to just do nothing because it's just gonna pass through her. 27.
It shoots, and she turns and watches it pass through the air, almost as if the air slows. And as it gets close to her, it zips right through her head.
I get 2 shots, right? I knock my second arrow. I'm not going to take this shot. I'm just going to turn and I'm going to aim it at the back of Ezra's head. You want him? Come get him, bitch. Or he's mine.
Roll an intimidation check.
I actually have intimidation.
No shit.
Unfortunately, I don't have a massively high. Do I get any bonuses for threatening to shoot her husband in the back of the head?
Well, that would assume that she gives a shit about him, but that's...
That's true. That's true. That's a 17.
Let's see. Just for... I'm doing that again. Damn it. Oh, yeah, she has enduring rage. Eternal rage eternal. She just looks... I mean, if, again, an undead creature without the normal features of one of a humanoid to be able to smirk or grin, it's hard to read. But if shoulders could shrug through bone and dress...
Wow. What a catch, dude.
She's had now let's go back for Elizabeth here for a second. Elizabeth has had 200 years to go over and think about the infidelity of her husband and finding paramour effects in their destroyed home after it being razed. So there's a measure of pissiness that could be allowed in this particular moment, but without her husband there to say it wasn't me. Okay. Anything else, Eris? That was a hell of a play.
No, I will just, seeing that she doesn't give a fuck. That actually is kind of reassuring to me because that rules out one way that we could end this curse, which would have gone very badly for Ezran. So I was kind of like, is this gonna be a thing? Okay, in which case, no. Unless as a free action, I can just drop my bow.
Yeah, absolutely. If you drop your bow now, then there won't be the 3 to pick up the swords later. Yep. Okay, so with that being done, we go to Ezran.
How much can we move on a turn? We have like our what is it? It's our speed, right? And that's 6 yards.
I'm just doing go by squares.
By squares?
I mean, we're technically right in that ballpark anyway, so.
Mm-hmm.
And it's different for run versus walk. You should have a run speed as well.
Okay. I just wanted to know whether or not a person could get to her in their turn.
Yeah, you absolutely can. You'd have to avoid the Yrden a bit as you kind of like skirt around since it's still active, but...
Yeah. I didn't necessarily say me.
Oh.
I would... If a person could get there in range in that time.
I see how it is.
I didn't realize that. Because I've currently got to her.
If you wanted to, yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
If
I didn't realize that too.
If you want to retcon it and get it up to her, yeah, we can do that.
Oh,
we're learning as we go, everyone. So yeah.
Because we haven't passed forward yet.
Yeah, no, I genuinely thought that like that meant I had 15 foot. I was like, fuck, I am slow as hell. Like, okay. Yeah, okay. In which case, like, wouldn't have done that. I will run up. I'll still say my actually no, I'll just run up and I will make sure that I want to see if I can get between the sorceress and her. And I would have made attacks against her then. Shit. Oh, and I'm always going to wonder, would this be a critical with my sword if...
I will let you know this. The results would have been the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
in which case, I will get up and I will get between her and Varen.
Okay. Yeah, you're absolutely able to do that.
Nothing happens.
So answering your question, Ezran, as Eris blisters up past you with a slight hitch in his giddy up from an earlier wound, able to get up and, kind of raise on the elevated area a bit and stand facing your ex-wife. Let's make it official.
We never got divorced.
Statute of limitations is way past due.
That's probably true. I will say... Master Wim, put her out of her misery. Put her to rest. That's what I would say. Master Wim, put her to rest. I will make a command against Whim's will times 3. Is your will... Oh, it's a critical. Oh, that's nice. 33. Is your will times 3 less than that?
My will times 3 is less than that.
You get a +3 on your next action if that involves putting her to rest.
He hears that and turns back, and his eyes squint. I'm not your fucking dog. But okay.
And then I will move
But
away from this this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. Yeah.
okay. If you are done, then it is in fact Whim, who is definitely not a dog's turn.
Nope.
Where do you find speed at? I'm looking for that. Oh, 7. Okay. So, and you can move 7 meters.
You are
And-
all well within range, yeah.
And then your run is on the other side. It's your right-hand column set on the top. You know,
Yep.
the stats on the left, the run is on the right.
Okay. Yeah, I see that now. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to leave the Yurden circle, go within range, recast Yurden at 2 more stamina. I already took the 2 off for keeping the Quen up, which may or may not do anything. We'll find out. And then can I spend 3 more stamina to make a grapple at on the main Noon Wraith?
Sure, go right ahead.
Okay, so that'll be... Alright. Fumble, but a 23. Let me... So 20.
Did you take your +3 from me?
I did.
Okay, and that is... It's a brawling, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So she just kind of makes herself bigger. And as she kind of flexes you off, you feel for a moment that necklace bounces, and the arms that you kind of reach to kind of do a dance with this one, it bounces off your face as she kind of shoves you away.
Fuck. And I'm done with actions then after Yurden.
Correct.
The grapple.
Dusa, you're up, buddy.
All right. Yeah, Dusa, who's... Are those things still there?
They're spinning.
They're spinning around...
Right round, baby, right round.
So if Dusa moves away, then he's going to get... He might get hit.
They're spinning. They haven't seemed to strike yet, though.
All right. So he's just going to move. He's going to run forward, seeing... And so he'll see that the wife there is trapped in the circle, right? She's she's corporal, right?
Correct.
Okay, and he will run forward then and send his blade spinning into a figure 8 pattern to kind of get it off guard, and he'll deliver a powerful spinning cut to its torso. So that's going to be 1 strong strike. He likes those. And swordsmanship. Strong. Yes. Right there. That's a 14.
Yeah, her base is higher than that, so you would miss with that strike as she just sidesteps as you come in and the blade sweeps down.
And he will then keep his shield going. And that'll be it.
Okay, so that takes us to Varen. Varen, you see that the Witchers are witching. What would you like to do?
Said I'd help if I could, and I'm actively bleeding and she's pissing me off. So
Right, that's
I'm
a bleed of 2 HP a round, by the way.
I'm not enjoying it at all. And she wrecked my dress, which is even more pissing me off. So she's gonna just point at her and cast Karis at her again. Because I can do that. And it's a 27. It's a dodge roll.
Okay.
So 3 means I get to roll 3 extra d6 for damage. So that's 14 damage, and she has to make, she has 3 attempts to not get frozen.
Right.
She's physical.
She shrugs them all off, but you can see where the pellets have stuck, you know, but she's able to not feel their effects.
That's how you actually do it, wench. And then, this is a hole, right?
It is.
I'm doing that.
Okay, you roll around the corner.
And just leaning my back, leaning slightly on the wall as she does so.
Mother! Jesus! It's like my third fumble in a row with that thing.
The dice don't lie. They're wanting to tell us something.
That is
Greg.
the aptly named botchling.
Greg, can you hear something?
I know it with his violins.
Winds are howling. It works both ways, bitches.
I guess it
Don't
does.
piss off the dice gods. He's still frozen. I'm happy with this.
Yes, he is. He can move, but he's opting not to as he's trying to free himself from the ice. That's what those rolls are for. But at that point, we are going to have... Let me zoom back out so I can find all my friends. What? All right, never mind. The wraiths that had appeared before begin to dance around Ezran. Ezran, you're going to take 9 hit points of damage. And as you take...
Isn't one of them gone? Like, isn't one of them dead?
One of them was, yeah.
Yeah.
And as the third reappears and they begin their dance, you take 9 HP, and those of you closest to Elizabeth would see that the damage that has been done or had been done by the magical attack begins to heal.
She leeches, basically.
She's a leech, everybody.
They are just like, they are like glass. You can break them real easy, but they are unpleasant.
They sure are. All right, friends. We have one attack, and I think what we're gonna do is, yeah, we're gonna go. Let me roll a d3. This is for my Witchers. Whim 1, Deuce a 2. Oh, excuse me. We'll roll a d2. Whim 1, Deuce a 2. All right, Whim. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong one. That's my stupid botchling. They can't roll for shit. Hell with that thing.
That was still just a 2.
Damn thing. Okay, that's a 19 to hit. It would be a dodge or a block or whatever you would like to do, Wim, as the claws of this creature come in. Okay, you are able to move out of the way of that attack, and the second one is going to go to Dusa. 17 for that one. Also a dodge, Dusa.
Oh boy. 13.
The claws strike true. 15 damage, but I don't think that... Well, let's see where it hits.
I got my shield up. Does the shield help?
It will if it hits, but let me see what the... Ooh!
What? What's that?
Headshot.
It's a headshot.
It's a headshot? Okay. So that's why I put up to now 15 stamina on my shield. Or more or less.
How many points do you have in your shield right now?
Oh, right now, as you know, I got 1 stamina in my shield, so that's 10 hit points that it covers.
Okay. So with your Quen, it's evaporated. You feel, and all the Witchers would feel, the explosion of magic as this creature just rakes into Dusa's head. With that hit, you're going to take 45 damage.
Oh, shit. Well, that's it for Dusa.
No, 45 minus the 10 for the Quen that was on there, down to 35. And then you do have head protection. How much is it? It's not much. I know it's 8. Or...
Head protection. No, he
Your
doesn't
armor.
have. He doesn't have a helmet. So you said 45, so that's 35 damage. So he's at 9 hit points. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he's taken a bad hit to the head.
So you all would see as these 3 lines of flesh get peeled off of the side through the thick hair of Dusa down towards the beard, just laying his face open and laying into his neck as blood sprays out. As Dusa spins, I need you to roll a stun roll for me, my friend, as you have lost a significant number of hit points very quickly.
Ezrin yells out, Dusa!
That's a 10.
You see Dusa begin to stumble off the dais, holding his neck. You are stunned, which means you do not have an action your next turn, nor can you dodge anything.
All right. Clutches his head then.
You would all see Dusa just peel away. Also, make sure that you add your 5 hit points from the beginning of the adventure, whenever we had the swallow that came in from...
And you all... And Dusa took the swallow.
When?
He's on swallow, so he's gonna.
Yeah, before we walked in the door.
Yep.
Did you? Okay. So with the swallow pumping through you, make sure
It's not gonna work this round though.
you got hit.
He looks bad, huh?
You're wondering how he's still standing.
It's my turn, right?
It is not. That was her turn.
Her turn, sorry.
Yep, and then we go back up to Eris. Eris, you see all this as well. Top of the round.
Question, joint attack. Can I target 2 different points? Okay.
Only you can.
Okay. So if I roll, can I just roll like fast attacks but count them as a joint attack? Because like they'll be different
areas.
modifiers?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay,
it's a good idea.
Okay, cool. Right. Okay.
Are you doing what you said you were going to do?
Yeah, it's up to you how this is described. I have like in my head a way that it looks, but if it's gonna look,
you go ahead. If I have to add anything, I will.
Okay. So it's just me and Wim technically here, right in this moment, right up against her. Right, Deuce is like stunned, won't necessarily see a whole bunch of this. That's mentally in my head. I see Deuce take that hit. I remember Deuce came in against a rock troll, so I'm gonna try it. So first attack is with my dagger, going for her. So this is a no. I don't have the meteorite one yet. Random. But I'm gonna do it first. So I will make the attacks and I'll describe it.
I always find it good to actually roll the dice before I talk shit or describe something. I've been in there too many times with Riordan where I'd say something and then miss. That sucked.
So I think just the 31.
That looks like it's gonna probably just hit, but I'll roll just to see. You never know, right? And just the 31.
Yeah, just the 31.
Oh, the 31's for both. Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, the second one because I'm gonna call a shot. So that's just a random location.
Okay. Both are gonna hit. You can roll your random location to see where it hits.
Is it 1d10?
I can get it for you if you'd like.
There we go.
It's in your quick roll buttons too. Target location.
Oh yeah. Cool. So yeah, same place. So 6, and then that is 8 piercing damage. I don't know if she can bleed.
She's immune to the bleed effect.
Okay, cool.
She had no more blood.
However, my second attack is going to be, I'm calling a headshot, and this is with my silver sword.
And you would have already hit, so go right ahead and roll. The damage of this will be tripled.
Okay. So is there anything for like the crit against? Do I get a crit for that with the difference between dodge and? I don't know how crits work.
Yeah, you get you'll get a 6 down for the first attack. You will not get one for the triple, but you'll get a crit for the second attack you had, which would be an additional 5 hit points. A lot of these effects, I'll see what the effect would be, but a lot of stuff doesn't deal with her.
Okay, so with Silver Sword, this is tripled, so D12. I hope that's good.
It's just verbal combat, but that's okay.
Shit. So that is 7 slashing damage plus the silver effect, which is also tripled. So that is 6 plus 7 tripled. So that is math 13,
9.
Is that 39? Yeah, 39 slashing damage.
Explain that to us then.
Okay. So this is something that I don't know. Like, this is up to Greg who sees this, but I imagine Wim probably will see this. As she comes in, makes this raking attack against Dusa. I step up towards him, towards her, take sort of like his place. The first dagger comes in and like goes for her arm, and as I stab it into her arm and she goes to like parry the blade, she brings her other hand up, and I've got one hand pinned on my blade. The other hand comes up to sort of parry my sword out of the way, and a third arm just folds very casually out of Aris's right arm, not holding the sword, grabs her wrist and stops her from putting her arm in the way. And as this third arm stops her from bringing it in, I just grin and drive the sword down straight into the side of her face. I want to see if I can try and take her tongue. Like, that's like the big gruesome tongue that hangs out of a Noonwraith's throat. I want to try and just slice straight at her throat, and then in an instant that arm folds back into my arm, and I look completely normal again. And hopefully she's angry at me.
She is, and the tongue is severed. That can be the 39 points of damage that you do as you do strike the head, and it knocks almost kind of off kilter because the skull is already compromised with this creature, but the tongue hits the ground and flops and moves, and as Dusa stumbles away, it squishes beneath one of his errant boots as he's moving down, his blood mixing with the kind of membrane that is on the ground from this tongue. And everybody, you do all get an additional 5 hit points that has just come in from Pope. And Katrina has also donated for something else, which will be coming in a moment. Anything else, Eris, after that devastating attack and bit of a surprise? There's a residual blue kind of haze around Eris for just 1 second.
I imagine it's very cold right now around me. And yeah, that's it. And I will stand in sort of between her and Dusa and just say, "You want to fight? You've got to fight, bitch."
Ezran, they are dancing around you. And Eris just called your wife a bitch. I don't know what you do about that, but
It's rude. I am going to ignore the dancing incorporeal wraiths that you cannot touch, because that's, not doable. Yeah. I'm going to... everybody's in the same zone. Not a lot of space. 2, 3, 4. I can come around. 2, 3, 4. I can kind of flank her. I am going to move around right about there. And I'm going to say, "I am so sorry." And I'm going to attack her with my weapons.
let's roll some swordsmanship for me.
That makes me really sad, but it's all right. It's okay. I mean...
In sickness and in...
No! It's fine. I believe it's a fast strike, so I don't have to take the minus.
Right.
Joint attack, actually, right? Because I've got the sword and the dagger.
You don't get joint attack, that's only Vipers. You get 2 fast attacks.
Perfect.
That's
okay.
me. Sorry.
No worries. Extra action, no. Yeah. And random. And there, go. This makes me very sad. A 19 and a 16.
First one.
Ooh, wow.
And so, yeah,
I say, "I am so sorry. I am sorry." I say, as I, swing at her, hopefully trying to, a little bit of flanking, a little bit of distraction so that Dusa can be okay.
She looks at you, doesn't say anything. Not sure if she can without her tongue, or if she can't because she's pissed. but she only has eyes for you.
Good.
Just like in life.
That's great.
Pity you
'Cause
can't say the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, what? Hey. Look, it was complicated. It's complicated.
I know that, Trooper, but I'm allowed to say whatever I want because.
But I also feel like she doesn't know that right now, and I feel like that's the awkward part. Awkward part.
If only I'd had time to explain.
Yeah.
Famous last words. Wim, you're up, my friend.
All right, so with her distracted with Ezrin, I'm going to make a grappling attack. I'm going to burn 3 luck on this one, so to give it a total of +5.
Okay.
If that is permissible. Don't know why I use that voice. That just...
Just happened. Let go with it.
Yeah.
Your emotions are too close to the surface. Go
It's too
ahead.
much. It's too much.
Still a fumble. I know what you feel, Greg, sort of. Yowza.
So that's down to a 15. She could fumble too. I've been doing it all night. Rolls of 15. That's a roll off because of what we're doing. So roll again, my friend.
Oh,
For grapple?
Yeah. Normally it goes to the defender, but I don't do that for monsters. I just make you roll off again.
No bonuses or just the same amount of bonus? Minus the luck? What do you
Minus the
want?
luck. Yeah, you already spent that.
23.
21. So you're able to wrap your hands around her as you hold her tight.
And so I want to link my arm through her arm and kind of grab the top of her shoulder. And then I want to take my left arm and go to the other side of her torso. And then what my attempt here is, while maintaining the grapple, is to use my foot to lift her up and throw her to the ground for punch damage. And then if I succeed, a -1 check to stun.
Okay, this will be a secondary action. So spend 3 more stamina and proceed, sir.
Right. And I'm going to burn 3 luck on this roll as well. Okay. It's got to get that special sweet spot of the circle.
right.
31.
Oh, that looks like a good one. Yep. Stun does not work on this creature, but you are able to get her down as you take the Wraith and bring her down in the middle of the Yrden symbol.
So she, because it's a throw, she does take punch damage.
Yeah, absolutely. Roll that for me. Yeah, she's corporeal enough to take that type of damage. Yeah.
And she's, let me check real fast the status of after a throw. Okay. She's also prone.
Wim is really strong. That's all.
Specialize.
Wim is a big boy.
And then that's my turn.
Okay. Dusa, you are stunned, and so you can't do anything this round, but your stun effect is off for next round.
Does this round he get healing from Swallow? Because he hasn't
You
been
would-
hit this round.
You haven't been hit since your last turn, so yeah, you can get 3 hit points back. And then Varen.
Why mess with what works? She's gonna come around here. See this wench on the ground and cast Karis's Hail at her again.
Can you pinpoint it like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's a spell. It's a target. It's not an area effect. It's a targeted spell.
Okay, great.
I'm not gonna hit the guy grappling her.
I'll just take a terrible fumble.
How about a 26?
That's not
Instead.
a terrible fumble. And this is
what I ordered.
And it's a dodge roll?
yeah, but she's not going to be able to dodge. Neither's Wim, but yeah. So
Wim doesn't get hit.
right, oh, no. I'm just saying that because of the grapple, neither of them can truly dodge. Okay, 6 damage, and then
Plus the additional 5d6 for rolling over her. So 21.
nice.
And those 5 chances to get frozen again.
2, 3, 5. Okay, so she does have a little bit of frost on her. As the frost begins to creep up in front, things are getting a little bit cold for Wim as he's holding on. Anything else, Baron?
I know. I mean, I understand what a noon wraith is, generally speaking. Can I try something a little strange as my spending 3.3 stamina for an extra action?
I love strange. What do you want?
Can I dispel the extra wraiths running around that are basically her spell cast for her drain?
You can try.
Okay. Just a regular dispel roll on that?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Cool. So that's a spell casting. It's a 28.
One of them disappears.
And then she's gonna go right back around over here.
Okay. Now you silly fucker.
Here we go. You're the best. The best.
Son of a bitch. What's just happened? Fucking finally. Let me take this off. Hey, this bastard's gonna run, lope into the area, and because I am a huge asshole, going to lope around and take a shot at Dusa.
That's rude.
Sure is.
But he can dodge again.
Can now dodge again.
And he has armor.
And this thing sucks at rolling.
It's a baby.
Yep. As it comes in, you're gonna be, oh shit. That's a push off there. Let's redo that first one again. I thought
It has little baby arms. You know.
Hey, Dusa, have you been adding your +2?
To what?
To all your
everything?
rolls.
yeah,
No, I haven't.
Okay, that would have worked then. So let's do the second attack. 16. Nice. So with the critical, you're going to get it no matter what as this creature runs in at you. And then these are going to move down and continue their dance
Oh my goodness.
as it is... Where are you? Where did you get to? Where did I put you?
What?
There we go.
I feel like they're stalking me. I feel like that's.
You mean the one I
inappropriate.
just dispelled?
Yeah.
Top of the
Once-
round. When they pop back up, I would need Dusa, Wim, and Ezrin to take 9 HP away, please.
Wow.
All right. The fuck?
And Elizabeth is going to
Okay.
That's bad.
Yeah, something happened to my HP. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
That's bad.
Wim, I need you to make a resist magic roll for me, please.
That's brawling, right?
That's
No,
that's
unfortunately
it.
not.
That's it.
Yeah, that's a will thing, correct?
Yep, resist magic should be under will.
15.
Let me find the appropriate. For those of you, Eris, you would probably be close enough to see this, but as you watch, you see rocks and dust collect from around the wraith that's pinned beneath Wim and shoot into his eyes.
Ooh.
You see Wim's head rock back as blood begins to creep out of the corners of his eyes, and the creature... I need you to make a stunned roll as soon as you go blind, Wim.
Okay. Stun and death save. Got it.
Yep. Jesus. I think it's probably an 8 or 80. Okay. All right. Okay.
Odds are.
Yeah. If you give a mouse a cookie. Okay, so as that happens, you are now currently blind, and it is going to take a swing at you while you have it held.
Does it get disadvantage or anything for prone or any sort of minus?
No, because you're on it, but that is an 18. I think you should be able to block that.
Okay. Since I'm holding it, I can't dodge. I'm guessing.
No, the two of you are locked. The two of you can do whatever, but with the blind effect on, give me 1 second. You have -3 on all defenses. So go ahead and just roll normally, and we'll just take 3 off of it, so you don't have to add anything in. -1, because they're telling you that you have a +2 that normally comes in. So just go ahead and roll normally, and we'll just take 1 off of it.
Okay. So that's what I rolled without any bonuses. I didn't add the +2 in. So that's just what it is.
Yeah, just roll your normal stuff, and we'll just take 1 away from it.
And then a fumble as well.
Yeah, roll me a fumble, please. All right.
Evens out.
No, because the fumble, it's a 16, and then that would still be -1, would be a 15. So she would hit, but I doubt she can do much because you're covered in like 1,000 pounds of armor. Let's see where she hits, though. Torso. So it's 16 to your torso, which is going to tear into your armor. It'll do 2. I'll take care of all this, but it takes 2 damage to your middle armor, but it just barely scrapes across the heavy metal Nilfgaardian plate that you have on. But you feel her. You feel her digging in like a cat would, trying to dig through that metal to get to the flesh beneath. Let's see. She's going to try it one more time because she can't get away to anybody else. That's a 16. So roll normal and we'll take
Do I have
away.
to spend a stamina for a second defense?
Yeah, please.
All right, I'm not at. Should I add the +2 to this with all the minuses, or?
No, you just go ahead and roll your normal because it would have been a -3 and a +2. So you roll normal and we'll take 1 off of whatever you get. We'll just do it by looking at it instead of having to add in all that stuff.
Sorry, yeah, that was a block roll.
Oh, okay. You're using brawling as block.
That a block is a subcategory of brawling. Dodge escape is a category of.
Right. So you're able to block, and but you'll take basically the damage on your metal arms for whatever comes in. You're cool with that? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So the arm that's not grappling.
Oh. Hold on now. So that's 26, but that's still, believe it or not enough. So you'll take 2 on what arm was that? Oh shit, I gotta roll for that.
Yeah. Well, if I block and I succeed at the block, it goes to that whatever I block with, and I would block it with the other arm.
Okay, good. Because that would have been horrific. So yeah, with your right arm, you're able to do so. Takes 2 armor away, so you're at a 28. And I believe that is the end of my stuff here as we go back up to Eris. Eris? They can't see you. They can't see you.
Duly noted. I sort of glance past one of the dancers for a second, realize doesn't know I'm there. Remember when they came in initially and just went straight past me? Smile across my face. Do I get a sense same for her?
You can't really read faces, like I said.
Okay.
But
cool.
she didn't react to you when you cut the tongue off and looked in a different direction instead of attacking somebody that...
All right, I'm going to go all out with... I'm going to go joint attack, and I'm going to do the same thing as last time. Wim still got her held, right? She's still, like, being grappled by Wim.
Absolutely,
fantastic. Yeah. Okay, in which case, this is going to go... So, joint attack is... It's the same. So, it'll be... The first one will be normal. The second one will be at a -6 from whatever I roll.
Gotcha.
I got this. 28. So 22 on the second.
$22 on the second, you say?
Mm-hmm.
You will be happy to know that she has burned through all of her stamina and couldn't dodge the second attack.
Fantastic.
So this is going to be a brutal critical. Oh, I forgot. I'm going to roll that again. You know why? Because ones don't mean anything. Ones mean that nothing happens. Let's do that one. Very good. Roll me your damage, please.
So 6, and then for, again, Silver Sword is 6 plus 16 plus 6, 22 tripled for 66 slashing damage.
Just as your sword comes down, the creature's head turns towards Ezran. The long tongue is gone, broken jaw. All that is there is the woman that you married. Ezran, why? And for some reason, Trooper, you can see the sword coming as if through molasses. But her eyes meet yours. Why?
I imagine I can't even say anything before the blade hits because it's happening so fast.
It's moving so slow.
And I just say, you are my beloved. I'm so sorry. Please rest.
She looks as 2 twin tears go past her perfect cheeks. Liar. and she disappears in an explosion of dust that travels up and covers the Witchers, covers you, and settles amidst the glowing Yurden sign. And with a sound like a scalded dog, the botchling runs, loping on all fours to the north. The last thing any of you hear is, "Mother."
Out of curiosity, can I see this thing running by me?
It's running up in this direction. So I'll let you roll an awareness, but it would have to be a pretty high DC because you are hidden by your own hand. So
I'm fine with that.
go ahead.
Nope.
It lopes away.
No. That couldn't do that twice if I tried.
And all of the dancing wraiths disappear, leaving
I
behind.
kneel down and I hold her corpse.
There's nothing there. It's all just dust.
Is the dust, am I still blinded?
It takes about 45 seconds, but you're able to begin to look. Your eyes are tearing up very terribly. You don't believe there's any eye damage. It's the corners of your eyes that were blasted. Josh?
He's swearing non-discriminately. This is just one of the things that happen to frustrate him the most, is being deprived of a sense that he depends on. So he's whipping up dust and screaming and punching the ground, and anything that's, he's like his holding his eyes with one hand and swinging out wildly with his other hands.
Question for you, Greg. Is the pendant still there?
It is.
I would like to, as Wim is currently, as everyone is busy at the moment, I pick it up, and it is gone. It is just gone.
It would have been by me since I'm right there by the body,
That is true.
right?
If
Because
you both want to dive for it,
No, it's nothing like that. Like, if he goes for it, I'll let him have it.
okay.
I suppose the question is, in the dust, what is still there? What is left in this dust?
In the dust itself,
Is it like both the pendant and the signet? Like, what are the things that are left from her?
it's just the pendant that you would recognize as being Kel Hallow's.
Yeah. I will pick it up and put it in a pouch, but I would also collect some of her dust. I would try to, so that could be put to rest. I would try to gather.
Whilst he's doing that, if he goes for the pendant immediately, first thing I will do is I will grab Wim, take my water skin, tell him, stay the fuck still, give me a second. And I'm just going to splash water like into his eyes to rinse his eyes out.
You can see as the blood kind of runs out with it, but Wim, your eyes clear.
And I will just put my forehead against his and just clasp him on the shoulder. Well done. And then I collapse.
Hey! Can Wim see what's wrong, what's going on, what the matter is?
Not injured, just drop on the floor, still conscious, just ragged, deep breaths.
And that's what fighting a Wraith's like. Fuck.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This reminds me of a joke Ezekon told me once. about fighting Wraiths. Said there was something about it he really hated, but he just couldn't quite put his finger on it.
That was a shit one, but it's funny.
And Ezrin's just gathering the remains of his wife.
Yeah, you can see Dusa watching him, sitting down on a stone nearby, clutching his face as the swallow slowly heals it. He might try some first aid on himself. Dig into his pack and start pulling out some stuff.
Varan walks in, sees all of this, and turns to Ezrin and say, I hope you're planning to bury that and not take it with us so we don't end up with more dead coming after us. And Mr. Dusa, sir, do you still have that wineskin? I could possibly use it at the moment.
He'll pull it out with a smile, and then he'll wince because that hurts. And he'll throw the wineskin over.
Farron, you are still losing blood.
Yep. You could probably just see it now all on the side of her dress, and you can see it so dripping as she walks towards you.
Well, and then forgetting his wound, he'll walk over to her and start checking.
Roll me a first aid, Dusa.
So, first aid, I keep forgetting what the hell that's under.
It's craft.
Craft, okay. There we go. 19.
The bleeding stops. You will have taken an additional 10 hit points of bleed damage, though, from the end of the fight, as a lot more than 3 seconds passed before you were able to say anything.
Yep. She's still standing, but she kind of has a hand sort of resting, not quite leaning on Dusa, but kind of, and kind of also trying to help him stand upright. It's a very precarious look at the moment.
Yeah. Apply some cloth to the wounds. Some clean cloths. And maybe a bit of numbing powder. A numbing herb, sorry.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you very much, sir.
As you all prepare after this fight, you move away from the center of the area, and Ezrin, as you kind of collect the dust for burial or just collect it, it seems that as soon as the sun dips just below the trees of this mountain, just enough to make it a false twilight, and the shadows from the ruins fall across the middle of the room, there is a rumbling from beneath your feet. The essence in this place no longer able to hide what had happened. And the center of the floor begins to lift with a... It rises up in a column, and there is a table, and there is a rack, and there are all of your names.
When you say rack, do you mean like...
Not a torture, like a weapon.
I just wanted to clarify. It's not a...
The table and the rack on top of the table, or what?
There's a table. There seem to be things lying on the table and things in a rack. And your names seem to be attached to items both on the table and in the rack.
Huh.
I look at Ezrin.
I look at the table.
I will go and wrench my silver sword from where it's half buried in the ground from that final blow.
Wim kind of sees this going on. Like, it's this thing that ties us together. Ezekon must have did this.
Who's going forward?
Wim.
And Ezrin.
Can I just, before we do that, can I take a moment to check to make sure this isn't cursed?
Of course, Mistress Veron.
Does that meet with your approval?
I'm just looking at it. It's
Wim.
fucking fine.
Must be magic.
Yeah, that's kind of what my concern is. Making sure that it's just magic and not cursed for you. It's a 28.
It's not cursed, but while you're there, you see a staff with your name propped up in the rack.
She'll brush it gently and put her hand on it.
As soon as you put your hand on it, the worn walking stick wood bleeds away, and you would all bear witness to the birth of Frostfang, the twilight of winters, as ice begins to creep from the top of the staff and bloom like a palm tree, dropping into long fangs that drape, almost with a shade beneath them. And as Veron would turn to you, you would all bear witness to her eyes as they begin to bleed a gas like frost, and her mouth puffs out the chill.
Wim kind of takes a step back and his eyes are wide. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that?
Wim.
A very old friend coming back to me.
You got shit come out your eyes. Is that supposed to happen?
Do I comment about the fact that your eyes look unnatural? We've both been touched by magic. I just...
Have been touched more?
Yes.
Eh?
I will take a step forward, but probably not moving very quickly, almost sluggishly, and I will sheath my silver blade. What else is on the table?
You would see 3 identical stones on the table. They're flat like river rock, but they all carry a red symbol, a symbol that you would know is Dashbog, fire. And there is a note beside tags that say all of your names, Wim, Eris, Dusa. And the note says, boys, burn 'em all.
And Ezrin is by Eris and says, Master Eris, I assume that you know his handwriting. Not looking at the items, any of that, but at the writing. Was this by his hand?
Craig? Yeah. Not as fancy as yours, I'd wager.
But still beautiful.
I will pick it up and just hand it to you.
A few other items exist. One of them is a sword. And the sword, upon its blade and upon its pommel, bears the crest of your house, Ezrin. And it gleams. And there is a note for Ezrin from your son. And it reads, I brought it home.
And he can't touch the sword right away. He has to just sit down on this lip with the note written in his son's hand, and with a small sack of his wife's remains, and he has to just sit for a moment with that while the others look at items. He has to just be in this moment, knowing this is probably one of the closest he'll be to his son ever, before he can approach the sword.
As he sits, the sword, silver, steel, what are we talking?
Ezrin's sword? It looks to be steel.
As he sits, will put a hand on his shoulder, and I will reach up, take the sword, lift it.
It does not move for you.
Oh. I just chuckle slightly at that and let go of it, and I crouch by Ezrin. Steel yourself against this. It's what he would have wanted. I'll be having that dagger back if you wouldn't mind.
Of course. And that sort of that sort of very Eris thing to say sort of just breaks the mood just a little bit, and he sort of smiles with sort of tears just right in his eyes, and he goes and he hands you this sort of gleaming blue dagger. Of course.
Father to son, to father again.
And he stands, and he goes over to the rack, and he reaches out and takes the sword.
It pulls away freely. As you do, you realize that there are 2 additional items. There is an unstrung bow that is in the rack beside the sword, and you see that there is a tag that says Shilaloon. And you see that on the table there is a strange bag. It has symbols all along the outside of it. They creep and they glow and dance. You see figures run across like children at play, creating an entire theater upon its leather. And it too bears a tag, but there is no name on it.
Mistress Varan, dost thou know for whom this might be?
Looking at it, do I recognize it, or do I know what it is?
You can, without a need for a roll, you can definitely sense the presence of magic, but it's wild. In many ways, you may guess it's elder. It's something primal.
Can Wim determine its origin? Like in terms of like culturally?
Tell you what, you tell me what role you think would be applicable and I'll...
Deduction.
Sounds good to me. I'll take that.
Right.
The DC was 20, and you have a +3 on that anyway, or +2 on that anyway. You're pretty sure it's Elven.
Can I trace it to a location, a particular elven location? Any sort of markings I've seen before in dealing with elves?
Nothing that gives it away, but there are different images that come across its surface. You haven't seen it repeat. You're not sure if there may be a clue upon just time, but no landmarks, no maps, no historical events that you recognize that could pinpoint it to a locale. Just
I roll education, because it's old, and I am also old, as it turns out, and perhaps I might have, if it is something that might have been.
Well,
Elves
yeah.
were commonplace back in the day when you
Yeah.
when you were talking about like elven kingdoms and stuff. Yeah.
Right, like maybe it was from back then. 19.
You believe it is from your old neighbors. And with that education roll, I'm going to let you know this. You don't know exactly how many letters Sheila Loon sent.
I looked at Ezran, who's sort of like wrapped up in this for a moment, and we all sort of take a moment to recover. I will pat him on the shoulder, now he's got a sword in hand, and just say, you have a link to your son now.
I do.
But you still have a link to her. We need to do this now.
Yes.
Wim, the ring.
I had it in my hand a second ago. I must have dropped it by the north.
Oh.
When I first cast Yrden.
And Ezra will go off where he's being sent to go and look for the ring, to see if he can find it.
And Wim will follow.
Where?
I wasn't thinking it. As soon as I cast Yrden and I grabbed the first one, the ring didn't matter to me anymore.
No, Master Wim, it is all right. We were in the heat of combat. And also, he just stands a little closer to you so that the words don't carry to the rest. I dost respect thou very much, and never once would I think of thee as a dog.
Well, I believe you would be the first. And he smiles and continues looking.
And he will also continue looking. As it gets dark in this place.
Did you indeed drop the ring here, Wim?
Once we got focused on combat, he would have not even thought about it and dropped it in this very spot.
Roll some awareness for me as you are away from the group for a minute. Meanwhile, back with the others, Josh, did you have something?
Yeah, I'd like to try and gather up, sweep the dust, essentially, to the center of this.
There is the dust that was also the duplicates, and that's spread around in nice, neat little piles, as if it just collected.
I look to Dusa and say, you get them.
What are they?
We're gonna burn all of this, the ring, everything.
Okay. Well, we can use our Igni.
I look at the stone in my hand for a moment and sort of chuckle at his parting words to us and pocket it. Yeah.
Do you want me to make it a little easier for you to collect said dust?
You still got it in you? Looks pretty rough.
She kind of stands up straighter, and she's got the staff in her hand, and she brushes her fingers along it and lets her eyes flash once, and she's just going to cast Rihui at all of the piles of dust to just freeze them. So that they're solid and easy to pick up.
It works.
And so in searching for the ring still, I'll look over at Ezra and I was like, the first that didn't think of me as a dog who's still alive.
Thou art. Thank you.
This must feel something awful. I can't imagine being in your shoes. I've learned a lot about you, but there's a power deep within that I see. It came out to me when you sang. It's a gift. Hold on to it.
We shall right the wrongs.
Probably with more wrongs.
Perchance. Master Wim.
You don't have to keep saying my name. I'm right here.
When I'm from, witchers are respected and honored. It is an honor to be in your company.
I was never from that time, so this is quite the treasure. Thank you.
He cannot find the ring at all. That is not something that he can do. His awareness is fumbling all over it. He's not in a space to find anything.
Will an 18 do?
It's not here.
Oh.
I dropped it right here, I swear. Someone must have picked it up and ran off, or maybe it broke into mayhem.
Perchance. But my wife must be put to rest. That is the most important.
Well, the thing with Wraiths, they're tied to something. It was either that ring, or we saw with that pendant.
No.
She could have found the pendant when she was still alive and put all of her shit in that.
Mistress Baran?
About what?
Do you sense
Magic in the pendant? Let me see.
Hand over the pendant.
Just to say that I'm professional.
You are indeed professional.
I do a thing well. 38.
Mm-hmm.
And this is for
The pendant. Any magic, curses, spells?
nothing that binds it to this place.
That's an interesting answer. It's
Do
not
I-
a no.
Do I notice any magic on it? Because it's basically
There's a very old magic on it. You're not even sure if it's still there. It would be the equivalent of a tracer.
Is it familiar to a certain spell that she's used?
That you've used?
Yes.
Yes.
Nope. It's not magical for your purposes, Master Ezrin. Didn't do anything for your wife. It may have, however, at one point done something for Mistress Kelhallo.
Oh, that leaves the ring, and
The ring, something took it.
without being able to destroy the ring, she'll be back.
Less than a day.
So we should hunt it down. It can't be that fast.
I would walk over to Sheila Loon's bow. What kind of bow is it?
Strangely enough, it looks like it's made out of some type of clay.
How light is it? If I heft it for a second.
Can't pick it
Oh.
up.
I can't pick it up.
Varan turns and sees Aris try and lift it. And she just smiles a little. Leave for the dead what are the dead's. At least for now.
It's a waste.
Well,
Am I
Eris,
wasting-
can you lift the satchel?
I'd give it a shot for a second.
Strange thing about that one is you can't even touch it. You get close and you feel like there's just a quarter inch of air. But you can't touch it.
Being cheeky, I'm going to try something.
Sure.
I'm going to take my dagger out, the one I've just got back from Ezrin, and holding that, I'm going to try and push with the dagger, holding the blade in my hand to see if I can reach out and touch it.
As soon as it gets close, it just begins like a magnet on a magnet. You just feel it starting to push away.
Wonderful. We have a botchling to hunt down.
We should all try to touch the satchel before we hunt down the botchling.
Take a second, and Wim will come up and try to touch it with the back of his hand.
Doesn't hurt, but just glances off. You don't feel it.
Nope. Surprise, surprise. Deucer, want to give it a go?
I do so. Will sit up. I don't know at what point, to what extent his head has healed, because it's been I don't know how many rounds. So, anyways, so he's looking better, and he'll give it a shot.
Again, it glances off, but your swallow has been used up. You were able to recapture the majority of your hit points over the 20 rounds, but everyone would see that there are 3 lines, one down the neck, one down the jaw, and one across the upper cheek. They're not garish or pocked or anything like that. The swallow seemed to have taken care of it, but like many witchers, this hunt will be remembered. At least on the flesh.
Hey, still prettier than me, Deucer. Hey?
What are you talking about? I haven't seen. Lifts up his blade and takes a look. Looks proud.
I'm gonna head on out south, out to the front, and see if I can see the tracks of that botchling.
No need for a roll. You can see him. The botchling ran off and didn't attempt to. These are the same tracks that you saw before. The ones that looked sort of like a necker's, but
Take a bow, take a broadhead arrow, knock it. All right. Let's see if we can't have ourselves a family reunion. And I'm gonna start heading, following the trail.
I'm assuming everyone is going to follow at a distance, or
After attempting to touch the satchel,
as Chat said, it's meant for someone.
yep.
Varan would wait until all of them have started walking out. And then
Ezra will try to walk with her to accompany her since she seems injured,
go on, and I'll be right behind you.
and he will bow and take one last look at his home, and then head out.
And she won't touch the satchel or the bow. She just drifts a hand over the bow and freezes it to the rack.
The rack freezes.
Yeah. And smiles. And just walks behind them slowly.
Varan, just as you're leaving, you see a flash of blue across the bag, and those almost the primal cave drawing type of symbols that represent these humanoid figures. Just as you're leaving, you see a crowd of these blue glyphed figures, and then you see a hill among this crowd, and you see one climb atop the hill and punch its fist into the air, and all of the ones on the ground follow suit as their hands rise into the air as well. And then that scene is gone.
Well, I hope whoever's waiting for you finds you. And isn't causing me more problems. I've got 4 that you're looking after already. And she just walks away.
So as our camera pulls away from the home of Ezran, its sundered shell, centuries in the making, a measure of peace, if only for a day, we travel through the forest in the direction in which the botchling ran. The botchling can be seen lying against the forest floor, its neck torn out. A hand reaches down and plucks the ring from its malformed digits, and it lifts it up to its eye as Gaunter O'Dim looks at the ring. Well, well, well. And back at the estate, a pair of hands reach across a table, and a bag moves. And that is where we will end our session of The Witcher. Yay!
Whoa.
Big ass fight. Everybody got their shit handed to them. I love it. It's Witcher. Getting cut up and all that stuff is my favorite. Y'all are a blast to play with. I love you so much. Legion, you are amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for letting me bring Gaunter O'Dim back into play. I couldn't have any more fun with a character unless, of course, it was Q, which they're the same. So love it. Let's go around and talk to everybody. Let's drop down to JF first. JF, my friend, how are you? Where can we find you online, buddy?
Pretty good. Well, yes, pretty good. It took a pretty hard hit today. First one. Thought it was a goner, but no, yeah, it worked out. It was scary. It's scarier than D&D. That's for sure. That's for sure. Love it. Oh, and it's at Double Crits online on the Twitter.
Nice, buddy, nice. And for some reason, my commands are deciding that they just don't want to work anymore, so I'm going to have to redo all those. Let me put your stuff up in chat though, as I am. Boop, boop. There we go. And let's drop down, my friend. Yeah, the Witcher is the combat system. Once again, I'm always reminded that if you've read the books and know the tale of Geralt of Rivia, he was killed by a pitchfork from a commoner because that son of a bitch he hit a crit. He hit a crit on Geralt, and that was that. And I think they've done a great job of encapsulating that. Oh, you're super tough. Not at this exact moment. And
that's perfect.
It's really, really bad.
I like it.
I love it, though. I love it. Let's drop down to my buddy Josh. Josh, how are you doing? Where can we find you, bud?
Yeah, good. Real good. Can't touch this. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I think that was I think interesting. Yeah, god damn. Headshots, man. Headshots are great. In fact, the only hits I've ever, I've scored that have killed have been headshots so far. So like it's been a lot of fun. I'm glad. I feel like now Aris is slightly less feeling like, oh shit, I really owe Dusa for that flying ridiculous thing. But yeah, stuff to be revealed. Anyway, my name is roleplayers _TV. You can find me on the Twitter sphere at links in chats. I actually have an up and coming show this Friday. I'm very afraid. It is a Stephen King / The Haunting of Hill House inspired thing. I'm so afraid. I'm playing myself. Just a slightly different time, but basically me when I was 16 years old, so I would be a shitty little emo kid listening to loads of bands that you have never heard of, and I will judge you for it because I'm a shitty little 16-year-old. And like we've just been going through our 2010 playlists and everything, but it is done by Jonathan Fryer, who's going to just scare the shit out of all of us. We're all afraid. They'll be over on Encounter Roleplay at 5 p.m. EST on Friday. So please check out the Haunting of Seawall Orphanage, and I will be back, of course, next week for more Witcher shenanigans, which is going to be great. It's going to be super chill. We now have to hunt down a botchling, potentially Gorner Odim, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Yeah, it's fine. And some random has just showed up. Nothing bad could happen.
Fantastic, my friend. And I mirror everything that everybody said in chat. Don will scare the shit out of you. So, eat cheese before you go play that game. Something binding. Let's go over to Trooper. Trooper, my friend, how are you? And where can we find you online, my friend?
I am fine. I don't know about Ezrin. I feel like he's a little sad right now, but that's okay. He's going to hang out with young Josh, young 16-year-old emo Josh, and they'll just be a little emo together. It'll be fine.
I love it.
They'll be just like listening to The Cure, a little bit of the Smiths, some Joy Division. That's just it. We're gonna be in that very sad space.
Oh my God,
little Susan the Banshees. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Oh yeah, I was that 16-year-old too. I'm just saying. And this was amazing. And hopefully we can put all this to rest. And who's the mysterious person who, took the bag? Who was it? I don't know. What's gonna happen? Is tomorrow Wednesday? I'm just curious. We could just zoom it forward. I want to thank chat for all of the help. Those extra HP was very helpful because unlike Witchers, I don't have that many HP. So thank you. I've been very concerned. And you can find me at Academic Foxhole on Twitter or here on Twitch at TrooperSJP. And this Sunday at 3 p.m., I will be doing the thrilling conclusion of Cthulhu Confidential, 1 player, 1 GM, Noir Cthulhu.
Fantastic, my friend. As we jump up to the beer-bottled Witcher, Billy, how are you, my friend? Where can we find you?
I'm doing well. Love the combat in this system. Love everybody I'm playing with. This is a hoot. If you like what I do. You can follow me on the internet at Bill of the Forest. If you don't like what I do, I don't give a fuck. And then if you want to watch me more, you can, after me insulting you over the internet, which should not affect you at all because it's the internet. And anyways, Monday at 6 p.m. on this channel, doing Realms Remembered, D&D 5th edition with Boz Lerman. Lots of very artsy, intense references that if you're good at things, you'll pick up on. And then Tuesday night, WebDM, 8:30 Eastern, for a Dark Nordic Symbaroum game. Super stoked for that. Greg's in that one, as well as Emma and Kiana as well. And that's going to be super fun. I got a shit ton of makeup for that. I'm stoked beyond belief for that. I get to play games 3 days a week on the internet, and it's the fucking best life you can live. But I'm stoked. I'm hooked because, man, the narrative is just super fucking dope in this game, and I love it. And that's it. Before I ramble into oblivion.
Love you, buddy. And last but not least, Prax. How are you doing, my friend? And where can we find you online?
Hey all, you know me. I'm at Deirdre Dunlin on Twitter or Praxagorth as Mephorius. You see me hanging out in the Twitch chat. I'm fine. I'm just a little salty about the fact that the botchling is going to attack the only person who doesn't wear armor. Just a little. But that's okay. I respect Greg. It's fine. No, but for reals, I love this game. I love everyone here. I love everything about this. I can't wait to see what happens next. So many things are in flux, and I can't wait. But as for me, you can find me tomorrow over on Wandering DM for some Masks fun, as our Masks Hellbreakers campaign gets some complicated. Things are getting complicated and emotional. And then we don't have any vampire this week because I will be out of town, and and not going to do that. But you can also check my Twitter because I always post the games that I write, and things have been publishing a couple of those. So let me know what you think. I appreciate it. And always check my Twitter because I post where I'm going to be. And I love to talk to people. But have a good night, y'all.
Fantastic. As for me, my name is Grimjack21502 on the Twitter, part of the Tales from the Grim team here on the Twitch. We have a lot of fun things this Friday up next on the channel at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have our Call of Cthulhu 7th edition BioShock Rapture Below. A group of fine folks are going down into Rapture from the BioShock video games, and they're meeting all kinds of fun things, including a little sister that needs help. She's lost her Mr. Bubbles. And so they are going to, it sounds fun. It's not. It sounds funny and cute. It's terrifying, and like some of them are going to die this week. But show up and watch that, because why else? It's Call of Cthulhu. Can't wait to play that. And then, of course, like we had mentioned by Billy, back around the horn for some Realms Remembered. And then next Wednesday we have Watchmen at 6, which is powered by Blades in the Dark, and then back here for Witcher. Tuesday night WebDM, all the fun things. Make sure to go check out all of our friends that are over on Veiled Alliance at LFM, and over on Salty Sweet Games with Kiana and Lauren. They are going to run their own Witcher game, and they have a Masks of Nyarlathotep starting, I want to say, a week from Saturday, but check out their Twitter at Salty Sweet Games to know all about that. And of course, all of our friends in chat, Legion, make sure you check out anything that Matev7's doing, other Doc. Anytime you see Pope World Build lurking in your shadows, tell him to get out of there and come join the table and play, because he's fucking awesome. And everybody else, if you want to become a part of the Legion and you haven't joined the Discord yet, please do so, even if you're watching on YouTube. We would love to have you there. We would love to talk. That's all we do. do is talk about nerdy stuff, and it's super fun, and you don't even have to join in. Just watch until you feel comfortable or find a topic that you would like to engage in or talk with somebody about. It's a very safe spot here on the internet. We all need that right now, and I can vouch for everyone that's there that they are kind, as are all of these folks that you see around here right now. They're kind because I like to play with kind people. It is my purview to have friends that are of that ilk, and it's nice. It's really good. So also what I would like to say is, everybody, Legion, Katrina, Matt coming in this year. We've got so many fantastic Sphinx. Thank you so much, everybody that donated tonight. Just an absolute pleasure to have you control and affect the narrative in such substantial ways. And thank you for all of the gifts that are going out of subscriptions. That is so great, everybody. Join in with the Legion emotes that we have here, because you are all part of the storytellers as we sit around the campfire and tell tales that, hopefully people like to hear, and hopefully take you away from some of the craziness that's going on in our world right now. And it's nuts, but at least here, all you have to do is worry about wraiths and 200-year-old jilted ex-spouses. It's easy. But, my friends, we'll see you next week, and as the campfire goes down, there's only one thing left to say. You can't always roll nat 20s, but you can always role play. If you can play with folks like these, you're a lucky, lucky person. We'll see you next time.